We are live. This is the CHRILLCAST live. I am Chris.
And I'm Andrew.
And today, before we talk about, the death of gaming journalism, I want to remind you all that you can go to coffeebrandcoffee.com, use the code CHRILLCAST to get at least 5% off, hoping Jeremy will up that to 10 for us at some point in the near future. But until we sell some of this coffee, he ain't going to do that. So use the code CHRILLCAST. And Andrew, why don't you jump in with gaming journalism? I actually just realized I need to turn this sound machine off here in my basement so I don't have random sounds during this podcast. So take it away.
Okay. Well, basically, as you can see with our title, it's how gaming journalism died. I know Chris has his own ideas. I have my ideas.
Oh, okay.
He's back. Okay. My idea, which I just used filler before this. All right. My idea is that gaming journalism died because gamers never really wanted journalism. Personal opinion.
I mean, I think what people wanted. Let's just start from the beginning here. What was gaming journalism when it started, when we actually watched it? It was hype news about things coming.
Hype news about things coming, but also there was more focus on actual gameplay, I think.
Well, so, okay, the earliest I can remember gaming journalism existing is like the Nintendo Power Magazine. I remember those in like the 90s. And then there was Game Informer through GameStop.
Right.
Those are the two things I remember like back in the day. And that was more like microblog magazine style stuff.
See, I remember the magazines when they would you get a sneak peek at a game, right?
Well,
and they would hype it up.
That's what I'm saying. It was like a hype machine.
Yeah, they give you a sneak peek. They would tell you the things you could do with the game, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that had value when there was like a black box around development.
Yeah.
We no longer have a black box around development. You have much better media for actually sending out that information in the form of like YouTube videos or trailers from the company itself. They don't need to really work with the magazine for the hype.
Yeah.
So they kind of cut that middleman out of the equation.
Well, I guess when I look at it from a business standpoint, let's say every product you put out is going to get a negative review for whatever reason from the websites that you're sending it to, or let's say the review companies you're sending it to. You're going to cut that middleman out and just put out your own stuff. Because who wants negative press all the time?
But more than that too, we were getting into it a little bit. What were the articles like? The articles were more about did I have fun playing it?
Yeah.
This is what you could do in the game. This is this, this is that. It wasn't necessarily creative writing. It wasn't a hot take opinion article.
It was kind of like technical jargon mixed with hype.
Yeah, but I would also say you were an explorer, though.
Yeah.
It'd be like you were Lewis and Clark going on your expedition to see this game, right?
That was probably the reason. That was probably the reason why gaming journalism was valuable at the time. Because at one point in time, you didn't have that direct access to.
You had the magazines in the store to look through, because I never bought them. No reason to. And you had the demos that were there at the console at the glass window, and then that's basically all you had to figure out if a game was good or not, right? Remember how they would even sell the demo discs?
Well, the demo discs would come in the magazine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was another reason to get it, right?
You get the Xbox demo discs.
Yeah.
Sometimes PlayStation would have a demo disc. I remember there being PC ones. I had like a Spider-Man demo disc in one of the things.
But I mean, that's the thing. It was like, this is try before you buy. There
was value to be had in some of these old school gaming journalism style media.
Mm-hmm.
And then there would be like hints and rumors, kind of like how rumors exist on Twitter.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have access to the ability to get those rumors any way, shape, or form back when the magazines were people use these magazines as a historical historical
record
evidence of games that we never got to see the light of day. So for example,
that too,
there was a Fire Emblem game on the N64 in development that made it into screenshots in a magazine, and that's the only record proof we have that was being worked on.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's something like that. It's either that or E3, one or the other.
But like I said, it was an exploration of what was happening in the industry.
Yeah.
And now you don't need that explorer to go do that for you.
Now you just go on Twitter and type in gaming rumors.
Right.
You can pretty much find it.
But on top
or there's 4chan or Facebook or whatever.
It was never creative writing, right?
Yeah,
it was always this is what I saw. This is what I saw. This is what I experienced. It was
the bare minimum of what you need to understand something.
They were your eyes. They were your eyes.
Yeah.
They weren't giving you anything but being your eyes for you. And you could trust their opinion on. In general, I thought they were usually pretty solid.
Oh, yeah. No. It felt like it was being written by actual gamers.
Right. So they didn't want to make it fluffy with unnecessary bullshit.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
But the reason it's died is because they started trying to, I don't know, I think survive the fact that they were no longer needed. And then they started
just like a lot of legacy media has tried to do. They invent new reasons for themselves to exist.
So they started doing wacky opinion pieces, but the problem is they didn't have the writers for wacky opinion pieces. So they started hiring the failed journalists of other newspapers.
I mean, I'm not going to say automatically they're failed.
Fine, not failed.
Let me frame it for you.
Yeah.
These are the amount of people that go to journalism school is very high.
Yes.
It's a very high number. The number of journalism jobs that exist that can pay the bills are very low.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so what you wind up with is you'll take whatever journalism job is available. And in some cases, you have good journalists who are absolutely awful at gaming.
Well, okay, they may be good. They may not be good. Problem is, because of the reason we don't like what they write, based on how they write for the topic, they're bad journalists because they're not writing towards.
They're not writing for their target audience.
No, they're not writing. They're not writing for the target audience. They're not writing for the actual target information that they're trying to put through what they're supposed to be, at least. They're writing, trying to create a portfolio geared towards the actual journalistic job they want.
That is also a case, yeah. There are some journalists in the industry that I feel like are good. Most of the time. For example, Jason Schreier is a journalist that I recognize the name of. 9 times out of 10 what he writes is accurate. And even though I may not agree or align with his opinions on other things that he posts on Twitter, it is totally within his realm of understanding to relate to gamers. He can do that in a way that makes sense.
I'm just saying when it gets into your article and it's seems like it's geared towards another job, that's where the failing is.
Here's a good one. Journalists bad at gaming. If you had a montage of all the absolute never played video game moments, montage rolling, that'd be funny. I think one of the greatest stupid videos I've seen from a gaming journalist was the guy who could not finish the tutorial of Cuphead. Will sucks at Cuphead. He got through the tutorial no problem. If you would have read the prompt on the screen, it would not have been a problem. He could have gotten through it easy. Another good gaming journalist that I actually enjoy is Jeff Grubb. He's somebody that's relatable. He plays games and he's reliable. I don't have issues with Jeff Grubb. It's a lot of these new age journalists, the ones that haven't been in the industry forever, that are clearly trying to get their next job, not trying to be good at game journalism.
They don't want to put it's no different than everything else. They don't want to put the time and effort in to being good at the job that they have.
They want to move on to the next one.
They want the next job. Right. So it's okay, there's some pretty great journalists out there who ended up moving up the ladder, but they started on something ridiculous. Right? They didn't, but they put in the effort to be good at writing for what their target was. Reporting the facts about that thing. I don't know. It just seems like there's a lack of people who actually care about the games in there, which makes it where the articles no longer have value. I could tell you that you can, if you just looked at Game Informer, for example, on the website, right? That thing has changed in quality substantially just over the last 5 years. The difference over 10 years is substantial.
So this is another good point, though. Like, okay, so here's a funny story. I don't want to break into, like, we'll call it Gamergate territory, because that's a whole different ballgame. But the whole thing started with an accusation that essentially the gaming journalists were gatekeeping independent media out of game review and game critique. Mm-hmm. And they totally lost that. So what they did was they reframed what that meant. And then they started pinning it on, we'll say racist reviewers. That's what they tried saying. Right. They tried saying there was a racism problem. And I'm not saying that there is zero of that, but in the people they called out, I'm not seeing it. So
there's a problem, a legitimate problem, when it comes to how gaming journalism can't be trusted anymore.
Because they gatekeep with the companies that they're reviewing.
Yes, but we have to recognize the fact that this is a symptom of a dying industry. They're dying because their product is no longer what it needs to be, or what it was, like what they used to be was no longer needed, right? So it's not even the best medium. YouTube videos are significantly better at letting you see a game now than half the stuff that they ever did.
No, the problem is that a big company like IGN or any of those other big gaming companies have a much harder time maintaining their workforce and their platform when they're putting YouTube videos out, because they don't make nearly as much money as they could hosting it on their own website with their own advertising, because they don't want to split revenue with YouTube and other media platforms.
Well, I'm just saying, like, because they're failing, right? They have to figure out a way to make money. The only way to make money is to be like the voice of try to be the voice of truth on game ratings. Well, they don't want any of the game studios to be upset with them. They need the advertisement. They need to be chosen as the, like, oh, this is the sponsor to go, we'll sponsor you guys to do this review. Okay.
Well, they want first tier access to new games, because that's how you get new clicks. And let's just say if I have God of War Ragnarok day one of journal, like when the gaming outlets get it first, the gaming media, then they get to be the first people to tell you how it is. So, I mean, and YouTubers are getting into the same boat. Some of them are falling into the same trap.
They are.
It's like, if you want a day one, then you're going to play nicely with these, gaming companies like Microsoft, Sony, everything else. But if you have a big enough channel, big enough presence, and they can work with you, they're going to use you the same way they used to use gaming media. They want you to give a good review. That way they maintain their handshakes behind the back, and then you'll be the exclusive club that gets it first. But that's kind of a bad place to be from a critique and review standpoint, because then you're on the same side of the fence as the gaming companies, and your success rides or dies with the company itself rather than on your own ethics and morality and your ability to convey that to the public.
But it's also, you're forgetting the other thing. It has it's kind of made them combative with even their own, like, fan base.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like, it's gone beyond them simply giving a review. They now go on the offensive as if they're like
they want to defend something that's garbage.
Yeah, like
kind of like people that were defending Rings of Power. That was a trash show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they just instantly started to assault people online, verbally assault them over
the people who critique. If somebody takes the time to critique your product, I mean, there are probably people that do it just because, for the S and Gs, the shits and giggles. But for the most part, the people that are critiquing your work are the people that want it.
They actually care. Like, I don't review things that are meh. I just don't. I don't care. If you ask,
you don't jump into something like Lord of the Rings and just like make it up. Like, that's an established franchise with serious fans. You jump in there with a eyes wide open, no idea what's going on. You're screwed.
Okay, Chris, if you get a review from somebody They either loved it or hated it, right? There's no either or.
I mean, like, there is.
No one really refuses to say that.
I have played several games where I'm like, I like the idea, but I hate the implementation.
Right, but okay.
And so I'll suffer through some forms of media just because I like something.
No, but you're leaving a review, like
putting
the time and effort to leave a review.
Okay, that is solved by the like-dislike button. Yeah. Because if you have a system where you have like a star rating, you're gonna get 1s and 5s. You're gonna get a few in between that are very honest. Yeah. But for the most part, you're gonna get 1s and 5s.
Yeah.
That's what that means. You got thumbs up or thumbs down.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you get legit reviews, it's gonna mostly be from people who really love it or people who really hate it. Yeah. So you gotta understand that. So those are the people that you actually inspired feeling from.
Yes.
So you need to take it freaking seriously when people are actually upset enough to come on and bomb you with a shit ton of bad reviews.
I will say there does exist in the current state of the world a kind of polarization between ideas. So if somebody feels very strongly about something you've done in your show or even outside of your show, they may do what's called a review bomb. But I would say it's few and far between. I would say most of the time what you have is a fan of the franchise or media that you're producing that did not like your take on it.
You can tell if it's a review bomb. They're not very creative in the review.
Not usually. But when we were saying somebody who said 1 star and laid out everything, that is a super fan who's telling you exactly why you suck.
No, I'm saying if you get a paragraph, if you get a freaking paragraph and it is a unique paragraph, right? You can tell if it's a unique comment or not. If someone is just spamming the same comment and it happens multiple times, eliminate them. Those are review bombs. If these are unique comments, take them seriously.
Those are the ones you got to read.
But as long as it's a paragraph, right? As long as it's a legit.
If somebody took a time to write more than 2 sentences and it wasn't like it wasn't like the most common denominator type stuff.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Like you can tell if it's real.
But I think that's the problem. I think you hit the nail on the head. Is gaming journalism went from what I would say is like news, hype, and like explanatory to kind of all over the place. Defender of the media that they're supposed to be critiquing. So like if the media is bad or if somebody doesn't like it, it doesn't mean their opinion's invalid. It means that they have a different opinion than you do. Like I like JRPGs, and Andrew, I don't think you do. So if you and I both reviewed a JRPG, I might love it and you might hate it. Those are totally valid opinions. But gaming journalism only wants the I loved it opinion, and that's it.
Right. I mean, okay, it's more than that too.
It is, but I'm just saying, like, when you boil it down to just the bare minimum, like that's what that's what they've created.
It's okay. Let me put it this way. It's gone from hyping me up to convince me to buy it to telling me I have to buy it. Otherwise, I'm this, or that.
Yeah.
Like my reservations, because I'm not convinced that it's going to be good, they treat it as if there's something wrong with me. When it's like, you haven't convinced me. And I was going to do that exact comment too. So,
well, let's get into it. Floofy Sniper Ducko has something to say for you. I love that username.
Yeah. Review bombing also is used by the media to try and play off valid criticism. Yet again, easiest things to bring up. Halo TV show, She-Hulk, most of Phase 4 Marvel, and Rings of Power. Yeah, I mean, okay. I would add another thing to this. I think it is also used to gin up controversy.
To bring more people's eyes on it.
Yep, and fake virtue signaling. For example, the Star Wars Obi-Wan, a TV series. I refuse to believe that there's that many racists out there. There are so many bots on, like, one, even if there's one racist out there who's taking the time to hate message that actress, why do you automatically assume that all of those are legitimate accounts? It blows my mind. How much racism is this person actually experiencing at Comic-Con or whatever event she goes to? Are people like spitting at her and yelling racial slurs? No, it's inherently positive that reception, I assume. No one's been arrested, right? So where do they get this idea that they can experience basically no racism in person, but these Twitter trolls are real people, apparently? Where is the physical embodiment of this hate? I don't see it.
Yeah, you don't see somebody rolling up to the premiere with an "I hate whatever the flavor."
Yeah, you never see it. And if the fandom was so damn toxic, like they try to treat it, you would see it. Comic-Con would give zero. Like, are you telling me you're not going to get some stormtroopers out there being? I mean, come on. They already share the name of the Nazi soldiers. Like, you're telling me you're not going to get some neo-fascist types out there in stormtrooper outfits if they really existed?
Just you probably saying. Would. You probably would.
You would.
No, here's the thing that I find so hard to believe with this stuff is if you were to take a poll across the entire world, you're going to find a few people who would actually say these words out loud.
Will.
A few.
You will. But they're in the shadows. They're not publicly supported by anybody.
Exactly. Like, these are small pockets of people. I think most of us just want to get along and find good stuff. I would love it if the Halo TV show was actually good, but it is not good for a variety of reasons that have nothing to do with politics and have nothing to do with any kind of other characteristic you could pick. It has to do with bad writing. Very bad writing.
Chris.
And I refuse to watch new shows because I just can't do it again. I'm not going to put a franchise that I enjoy. I'm not going to give it a shot to ruin my take on it.
Yo, you've heard Will and I review Rings of Power versus House of the Dragon.
And I listened to all of Al Baleo's takes on it. And I love it.
You've heard our takes, okay? You understand, like, we're huge fans of both universes. We're not fans of Rings of Power. That it's hot garbage.
You're fans of Tolkien and what
Tolkien, and you've heard how overwhelmingly positive we were about House of the Dragon. Because the writing is good.
I would consider watching that at this point. I would consider it.
I highly suggest it. I mean, as far as world building goes, I don't think there's a better show for it. I think they actually did better world building than the original Game of Thrones series.
So I need to ask you a question, Andrew, so we can kind of get back on topic here.
Yeah.
And shout out to Nathan Sifu Gaming. If you're not subscribed, go find him. I think he's really close to 1K. So help the guy out. Help a brother out. Get him that 1K partnership with YouTube he's been wanting for a while. Anyways, long story short. When do you think gaming journalism died?
When?
When? I want to know when. I'm curious. If you have a guess. I have a guess. And it's going to tie into something we talked about earlier.
Gamergate for sure is like the timeline that it became, I think, in the open. Like open, not even like just, I think just accepted as fact at that point. Not like there's no pretenses. So I would agree with the comment you just highlighted between 2012 and 2014. Yeah. I was
going to say like 2013. That was actually what I was going to say. So what I love is like when you Google gamer, like, you know, the gate of gamers, let's call it the gate of gamers instead of the other way. Cause I think YouTube flags content that says it the way that it's supposed to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So here we go. The gate of gamers occurred. I should title that the video, The Gate of Gamers. A lot of them say like it refers to online backlash against perceived breaches of journalistic integrity. There's no perception. It's a fact. They were playing ball with the companies
which it was going to be
preferred access.
It was before this by a couple of years. So 2012, that would be the transition. I would say, because now I have to think back to when I was like actually paying attention a lot more. Like Game Informer, I would check that website multiple times a day back in like 2010 and stuff, and it was still good. Once it became like 2013-ish, there was no value anymore. I saw like no value checking that website.
As soon as YouTube became like when YouTube gaming became way more prominent, and for me, I feel like I really started getting into YouTube gaming and probably around that time frame, like 2012. Like I started watching reviews on YouTube instead of trusting gaming outlets. And Polygon, that's when I forgot to put in the headline. I should have put Polygon in there. Oh well, but it's pretty much been proven as a fact at this point that there were ethics breaches in reviewing versus hyping, because if you want to maintain a good relationship with a long time ago, Amazon had the same problem. They used to allow free review copies of things. So for example, I got onto this garden thing somehow, and they would send me garden products to review, and as soon as I left a negative one, they stopped working with me. I only got like 3 products by the time that happened. So the first 2 were great. I had a really nice hose nozzle, and they sent me some lights for my driveway, both of which worked great. And then they sent me some gloves that showed up and were already like dry rotted. So of course I left a bad review. I was like, these gloves are dry rotted. I ain't gonna pay. Who's gonna buy this?
But I'm gonna his second comment was actually just as the floofy sniper deco. And it's totally like 2 entirely different worlds. It really was. Like that's why I'm saying like 2010, I would check multiple times a day because I still got value. Like I remember when I was looking for news about certain games, because I knew Game Informer would actually have it on there from time to time, because they were great at putting updates. They were like,
well, Game Informer had a direct connection because they worked with GameStop. Like GameStop was the first place to get stuff. Still in 2010, people were not buying games on Amazon.
Right, they were on it, man. Like the news would update so fast on there, and you would get like new information about any game that you actually cared about. And then 2013, it started just like, it's when I can really think about it. It's like, I deleted the tab. Like I would keep the tab open on my phone, and I deleted it from my open tabs because I didn't get shit from it for value. It was just like, oh, that's stuff I don't care about anymore. Like,
I mean, the fact of the matter is, I think some time frame between this all coming out, and then in between that, also YouTube kind of taking the front of everything, and then news being available at your fingertips at any time, any place on social media. They had to reinvent themselves to create value for people to click on their articles and follow it. I think a lot of people that follow these journalism websites directly all the time now are more what I would call gaming activists.
For sure.
And they probably are gamers. If you're a gaming activist, I hope you're a gamer. But if you're if you're an activist in gaming, you might be a different style of person than somebody who's a hardcore gamer who actually cares about the reviews and the scores and everything else.
Yeah, I would add something to that too. Isn't it around 2011 that the negative headlines really started like upticking?
Oh, you mean like for clickbait and
just in general, like certain words and everything skyrocket around like one of the early 2010s, 2010, 2011, 2012 time.
If you're talking about just straight up online trends, then
no, like there's like certain words that are explicitly used to elicit negative emotion, and their usage in certain it's been on like Joe Rogan and stuff before where they show it, but like certain words that elicit negative responses, the uptrend in their usage spikes at like that time frame, because everyone started realizing that these words get more engagement. I forget, there's all sorts of things. So just like negative headlines in general really uptick around that time frame.
Let's see. 2 hour
Are you looking for it right now?
Yeah, I was kind of looking it up. This is also a good point, like advertiser money. So like advertisers,
Yeah.
It's funny. I was just watching a different podcast, and I'm not going to name drop, but I was watching another podcast a different day, and they were literally talking about how much power advertising has over, your mainstream media. And honestly, it's almost one of the what would I say? One of the pros of being independent media is that you don't have that problem because independent media doesn't always rely on advertisers, and therefore they don't have to play by advertiser rules. Like I would never take if we ever get advertisements on this program, which who knows, we have one, we got Coffee Brand Coffee, but that was because of affiliation and all that good stuff. But I would never accept a contract where they said explicitly they were allowed to dictate the things we can and can't say. I won't do that.
No, there's no reason to. It's just okay. Let's put it this way: when it comes to being like a game reviewer, if you are clearly purchased by the games that you're reviewing, it's obvious, right? It's kind of obvious. People are going to end up buying that and not like it. So you'll lose viewers.
Okay. I see some of these. I see what they're like struggling. That's a word that immediately evokes emotion, and you want to click on it because this is struggling. And you're talking about grandkids. So this is literally an emotion baiting article. Another one, like learn how to stand up to your boss and force them to see what you are really worth. Like you're talking about the worth of a person. Indulge yourself because you've worked hard. Limited number. This is like the top 10 ways to phrase articles.
Oh, yeah.
Downsizing and layoffs. Of course, that's going to happen. The 20-minute read that'll make you a financial genius. Okay, these are like definitely clickbaity. How to take command.
If you give an honest review and
how to survive
for that, you're going to get viewers still. You don't need to.
Is your child emotionally intelligent? Take this test. So wait, I'm taking the test to find out if my child is. This doesn't make any sense. This is an awful, awful, awful idea. Oh well, okay, sorry. Just. Oh my goodness. Okay. No, the other thing I wanted to click on is when you click on the Gate of Gamers assessment here on Wikipedia, which, if you know anything about Wikipedia, they've become very left of center. They are very left of center. And so if you're looking for like, let's just put it this way. If you're looking for any type of politically driven event in history right now, you have to question whether or not they are being accurate or emotional.
So let's just take a moment here to also highlight the fact that you are using, rightfully so, using the Brave browser to do your searches for this information in general, because Google has a tendency to manipulate the order in which search results come back. So, yeah.
I have not seen the Halo TV rants, but I am more than willing to go check that out later on. All right. Oh, Infogalactic. Okay, shout out to whatever Infogalactic is. I'll have to check that out later. I don't know anything about it, but I trust Nathan to not steer me wrong. All right. Anyways, long story short, I love how whoever got to create this article on Wikipedia jumps in and just says loosely organized misogynistic online harassment campaign. Like already framed this entirely different. Because it's like a backlash against it was.
I love the hyperlinks too.
There's nothing here that describe. I lived this. There's nothing here,
Chris,
that actually describes what happened.
I love
this. Is what this is. This is what. How do I even? This is the reframing of what it was. They decided to make it this so that they could skate by on the gaming ethics complaints.
Yeah. Well, okay, Chris. It's always insult the gamer.
Loosely organized.
I just
rate.
I love the fact that they highlight misogynistic online harassment and right wing as like with hyperlinks too, because it's just hilarious. They're really putting emphasis on these things.
I know they really are.
What does it say for right wing?
But here's the thing:
back
when this all came out, it had nothing to do with feminism. It really didn't.
Can you go back to the right wing thing? Just highlight that one real quick. I'm curious what it says right wing is.
Oh, it says describes the range of it's not that far off. It says it describes a range of political ideologies that view certain social orders and hierarchies. It's inevitable, natural, normal, desirable.
Okay.
It's really not that far off. Like I said, Wikipedia, when you're looking for like just straight definitions and not looking at historical or political events, for the most part, it's still pretty good.
It's just funny. The feminism thing is literally
you can tell these found. You can just one more thing about Wikipedia. Yeah. I don't have anything against Wikipedia necessarily, but when you start going into it, you can see there's an ideology to how they do some of these things.
So the feminist portion is just because there were lady journalists.
Well, it's because it was based around controversial figure Zoe Quinn.
Yeah,
and so it immediately became a feminist issue, and it really wasn't.
You can't. It's just lazy deflection from criticism.
It's the same reason why Rings of Power says that everybody who criticized it was racist.
Just because we demanded that everything makes sense.
Let's not dive down that rabbit hole again. You've already done it like 4 episodes.
I know.
But if you want to hear, if there's a deflection, the reason is they don't have a good answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's not even deflection, right? It's not even a deflection. It's a full-blown assault on the person that raised a question. They make it where they're now after you, like literally after you, trying to destroy you.
I think that She-Hulk is a unique case where you could have had a great show, except that the writing was bad.
That's everything these days.
Oh, that's why I said unique.
No,
because I was being facetious.
Oh, okay. I mean, the problem is the writers are devoid of creativity and originalism.
I think writing has gone downhill significantly fast.
I mean, that's because too many of them go.
I think basically they hand people these cookie cutter points. Like, all right, here's the TV show character, and here's the plot points you have to hit to meet advertiser requirements. And they're like, okay, so I have to write the same show that we've written 100 times already. Like, it's mind-boggling.
Chris, I would say that that's also a failing of people going to school for journalism.
Yeah.
Because, and not just that, and for writing, and for all of these things that are just creative by nature, they're going to school and are being told what they should do, geared towards like whatever the main industries are at the time. And so they're not being told to be creative. They're told to hit this metric, gear it to hit the advertising metric, gear it to hit whatever sales metric it is. Don't isolate any one person in the story. Don't like gear it towards any specific demographic that might be interested. It has to appeal to everybody, so it appeals to nobody. Like, they're not writing original content that's creative or geared towards any specific market. Who gives a damn? They're just making it to lack all sense of identity.
So here's the thing. This is pretty accurate, and this is kind of a good assessment on life. Education systems inherently crush creativity. That's because when you try to go get a degree, you have to fit in a square hole that the education system has created for you. The bulk of people who have made major changes to human technology and evolution, just everything, those people may have gone to college. They may not have gone to college, but that's not the reason they were successful.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gates never finished college.
Well,
nobody can argue that dude's not rich and made some serious changes in the world of computers. I'm not saying he's the greatest person ever. Steve Jobs never went to college.
I was going to say another thing too. Like, okay.
Oh, no, I take it back. He went to college, he dropped out, and then he went to work for Atari, and then he invented the Mac. So I think he did have a brief stint in college.
Okay, but Chris, think of like the Wright brothers and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they might have had education still. I don't know specifically, but they weren't scientists. I think there's this push, like, there's an like
degrees do not equal intelligence.
Not just that though, but like sciences, that there tends to be a thing where science follows discovery almost. It's not science leading discovery.
I don't know. I would disagree. I would say
no,
that
the Industrial Revolution, by and large, was expanded by engineers tinkering and building things more than scientists coming up with their theorems. Most of the theorems, like this, I'm talking about PhDs. PhDs do not tend to expand much of what we know. They don't build things.
Except Will's the exception.
Yeah, well, okay. On average, a lot of PhDs are trying to explain things that already exist. They're not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
They're not building the new machine. They're trying to explain why does the machine work the way that we've discovered it to work.
Aircraft were made by two hillbillies down south.
Yeah. I mean, okay, if you look at the top professors and philosophers at the time, they did not think flight was remotely possible. They didn't think it was at all possible until it was proven to be possible by people who just effing did it.
I think the point being made that for sure, a degree does not mean you will be successful. It does not mean you're smarter than anybody else. It does not mean that you can accomplish things. It does mean you can accomplish one thing. It means you can accomplish school, I suppose. That's one thing. All it means is you went to an institution for a set number of years, finished a education plan, and you were at least moderately successful at it. Because you have to get at least a C to get a degree.
Not just that, it's more than that, right? Like, I would say academia itself has become a place of hierarchies and just pissing matches about who's more, I don't even know, elitist.
I think it's extremely sad that experience and performance is valued below whether or not you have a degree. That's a sad world to live in.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of smart people out there with no degrees that can do far more than what I can do, and I have a degree.
Well, let's be honest too. A lot of journalists have degrees. They're completely, utterly worthless individuals at most things. Just saying.
I will check it out. The ping pong on Discord. All right.
But like for
not
real,
right this
Chris,
minute.
They have degrees, but they win. But it's just a journalist degree. Like, what would you hire them for outside of journalism? Real talk.
Well, to be fair though, that Ancient Apocalypse guy is a journalist.
Yeah, but it's not here's the thing. That's someone who's like doing his own research. That he's more of a researcher at this rate than a journalist.
That is what a lot of the journalist field is lacking. They're willing to report the breakneck speed of journalism and without doing the research.
And if anyone's curious what Chris is talking about, it's Graham Hancock. So
he's a pretty cool dude. And, I think he's pretty awesome.
Randall Carlson. So
also a very cool dude.
But like that's another thing. Both of them are guys who I'm pretty sure, I don't know what they're not like academics.
I think Randall Carlson might be at this point.
Maybe at this point, but like they're not the chief academics within those fields. They're shunned. They're just people who
are thinking outside the box.
Like, yeah. But it becomes this thing where you have to subscribe to something. It's the same with the journalism in gaming. You have to subscribe to whatever.
Talking about journalism, Barstool Sports. 2 scientists went on Joe Rogan. Graham Hancock says he's not a scientist. Okay,
I know.
Nice 5 seconds of research. Barstool Sports.
I mean, in fairness, it was Barstool Sports. They were probably drunk when they watched it, so just saying.
It doesn't matter.
They might have been at game day. They might have been at game day drinking when they're like.
They might have been. It just cracked me up. Two scientists. I did not realize that Graham Hancock had graduated to the science nomenclature. Anyways, that's fine. It's not a big deal. And yes, I highly recommend anybody under the age of 18 who has not decided on their path yet, at least look at trade schools. They're a really great place to go.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you can get
a
good salary right now.
Yes, you can. Make as much as me or more. Anyways, long story short,
I
think it would be sure. I think it would be really fun now, since we've had this discussion to wait, what?
He's one, Chris.
He's not talking about. I was like, wait a second.
No, he says it's hands-on. It's hands-on and engaging, not sit down and listen to shit. Yeah.
Oh man, but I will say this: if you are going to go to college, you don't have to take on debt. Like a lot of people think you have to. I just watched a really interesting film on the debt crisis in the United States. It's very easy to make money, even while you're going to college. And you can easily pay it off if your entrepreneurial take on it is good enough. Like this guy was doing buying and selling, paid off his college degree and got out. Anybody can do that,
Chris. Not just that, but there's also the that third-party loan structure where basically you promise to pay back a certain percentage of your salary over time.
I haven't even heard of that one.
So there's one where it's a private loan where they basically pay for your college, and as long as you get hired, you pay them back. If you don't get hired anywhere, you don't have to pay them back. But they restrict what degrees it's actually applicable for. So it has to be like engineering or doctors or teachers or certain things where there's value in it. They see value and they know you can get a job, and you only pay them back if you are actually hired after college. So that exists. It's been touted multiple times on John Stossel's show. So that's
John Stossel's a really good interviewer.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. So if you look for that, student loans, I forget the exact title of the video, but he's had it out there. It's many years old now at this rate. I think there's just a general lack of awareness. But it's a thing where you literally have to prove that what you're going for has value.
All right, so here's a fun thing I wanted to do since we're this deep into the rabbit hole.
Okay.
I figured we would go to some of the major gaming websites that exist and try to decide what percentage of articles are actually something a gamer would read.
Go for it. Let's go Game Informer right now.
No, I got Kotaku open.
Oh, fine.
All right, so I'm going to read the title and you tell me if you're going to read it. This Pokemon's got an evolution after 23 years and it's such
zero shits given.
I would probably read that because that Pokemon
that's clickbait as F.
I don't care. This Pokemon was back in I think Pokemon Gold and Silver and Crystal, Dunsparce. It was the most useless Pokemon ever, and the fact that it has an evolution now is intriguing, and I want to know about it. So I would this is at least gaming related. I'll give them the credit.
Fine, but I wouldn't. I don't care.
All right, so I'm looking for gaming stuff. Kevin Conroy is a beloved voice actor, but this isn't gaming related.
No, that's just celebrity. I don't care about celebrity.
So if I'm looking for celebrity news, I'm not going to Kotaku.
No.
And look, their top thing: gaming reviews, news, tips, and more. They straight up say they're not gaming news reviews.
But okay, I hate. Okay. These sound shallow.
Okay, no. He's bringing up a good point. Did he do gaming voice roles? I don't actually know. So let's find out. Played Batman and nope. Oh, Arkham games.
And
so
Arkham games.
Okay, so. It is tied to gaming. All right. He called us out. He's right.
I still don't really care.
Fair enough.
But
they don't state that. They said beloved Batman voice actor.
But I would never read it.
All right.
I don't like.
Hey, I'll pour one out for Kevin Conroy. He was a good voice actor. All right, next one. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet fans are obsessed with a yassified water starter evolution.
I don't like the headline.
I wouldn't read this.
I wouldn't read. Okay, this is the same problem.
Clickbait.
This is the same reason I don't like the first one that you said you would read, because
I would read that one though.
Yeah, but it just seems like such a shallow article. I don't know. It just doesn't seem worth my time. It's clickbait, obviously, but whatever.
This is something. If you wanted to play Modern Warfare 2, I would click this.
I would click that. That's legit. I don't understand what it is. I would read it based off. It's not.
Okay, this is TV show. I ain't clicking that.
Wait,
you probably aren't catching Andor's awesome nods to deep Star Wars lore.
Is that a good thing?
I've heard Andor is good. I've heard Andor is good from some people. Don't know.
No, I'm saying that's just not.
It's not a good. It's not gaming related. So
no, but that's not even necessarily a good article. But okay.
It's one of those click through 10.
If you're not noticing the nods, it's just a nod. Why do I care? Like, why?
Oh, here we go. Okay, here's a good gaming article idea. The year is nearly over, but you still have 10 game releases to look forward to. Okay.
Yes, that's literally hype.
All right. Crypto's biggest crash saw a guy playing League of Legends while luring investors.
Sure. I would read it. I would read it because this is a predatory thing, and I would make kids read it. Just don't give money to strangers on the internet, children.
Tactics Ogre Reborn is the best version of an all-time classic strategy RPG.
Sure. I would consider reading it if I was interested in it.
Here's why people are convinced Studio Ghibli is making a Baby Yoda show.
No. Why? This is not a game. Also, Baby Yoda sucks. I'm sorry. Right. I don't like Baby Yoda.
How about Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg firing 11,000 people after company spends $15 billion on metaverse?
Yeah, that's actually gaming
I guess that is gaming related.
It's Oculus. Kind of gaming. No, it's Oculus. It's the Oculus.
Yeah, but the metaverse isn't Oculus only.
I don't know. This is extremely satisfying to read. So I hate the metaverse.
An open world game with Ghost of Tsushima vibes and tight combat.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, I will say this. What game?
That would be fantastic to know. So
yeah, like what's the name of the game? Like this tells me nothing. Okay. Manga creator demands Elon Musk pay him $1 billion for posting cringe meme. Nope.
No.
Ain't reading that. Sprigatito evolution leaks.
Okay.
Tearing fans apart.
This is my problem with the Pokemon ones. This is why I'm going to shit on you a little bit for your initial thing.
The Dunsparce one is okay. If you know what Dunsparce is, the first article, you probably click on it.
I'm just saying that my problem with it all is this should all be one article. They've done 3 articles that should have been combined into exciting
all right.
information about Pokemon evolutions.
It's clickbaity. It's a singular focused article. You could do it all in one giant Pokemon update.
They split it purposely into 3 effing articles
to get 3 different clicks.
Yes. Yeah. That's my problem.
Musk blows up latest official Twitter verification badge scheme in mere hours.
Why do I care?
I don't care. That matters to gaming journalists, which is why they're writing it.
Well, also I think it also makes a big difference based on who the journalist was. So
yeah,
I think she cares more about that than games.
Anyways, I don't care about that. I don't like if you're a gaming journalist, then your merits should stick up for yourself rather than your badge on Twitter. All right, that's what I'm going to say about that one. Fans won't stop comparing Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 2.
So
what? Yeah, what's the point here?
So they're totally different games. No,
I mean they are and they aren't. It's like, isn't it just like essentially a remade version in the new engine they've got going on? I think like a modern version, a modern Warfare.
I'm still going to compare it. It's like the greatest game that they ever made.
I mean, if they ever remade Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 instead of that garbage one they released in 2012, I would definitely compare those two together. Like, of course.
But here's my thing. It's Modern Warfare 2.
Okay, this is the dumbest article on the page. 10 anime characters who would absolutely fail.
Why is that a thing?
Why is that even on here?
What? Also, who the shit took the time to write that? Do you get into character too? Like,
here
is he a method writer?
This is going to be your favorite one. The Art of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. It's fine art.
Why is this a article? Also, did you know you can buy the soundtrack on vinyl?
I don't want it.
I know, but you can buy it on vinyl.
Okay, here's a good one. The 18 best games for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that's a decent article.
All right.
Next one is decent too. See, that's just a demo concept to me, and I think that's a good article. They should be at the top of the stupid page, though.
These are good. Yeah, best and worst parts of every Assassin's Creed game.
No, it's an awful article. It's awful.
Why?
Because
this is one I would probably click on.
No, because honestly, let's be real here.
Spoilers?
No. The Assassin's Creed games have gotten basically just bad.
I mean, yes, but this is every Assassin's Creed game. So
yeah, so you're going to have pros for the first like 3, pros and cons for the next 3.
Oh, this is a good article, but this is Gizmodo. 10 years ago, actually Gizmodo still writes pretty decent articles. A lot of their tech stuff is really well done. At least I watched like.
Oh, you scrolled back up.
Anyway. No, I'm at the bottom. This is just repeats.
Oh, it's repeats.
Yeah,
I don't.
10 years ago today, Final Fantasy 14 destroyed its world to build a new one. No, that's valid. I don't know how much you know about Final Fantasy 14, but it launched in a state that was like awful, and they've rebuilt it, and it's one of the best Final Fantasy games ever. It's an MMO that's actually successful. It's kicking World of Warcraft's ass by major factors. So yeah, it's by all means doing well.
I have huge problems with the article on the left.
What got them nice and Shrek?
Stop. That's awful.
Shrek is love. Shrek is life. No.
I mean, I guess game tips is good, but I don't know.
This is like Halloween themed stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is like when you see the shared articles on Twitter, they are never gaming related. That's why Kotaku, I think, is having such a hard time rebuilding their image. Is like a lot of the stuff you see shared on there is like absolutely has nothing to do with gaming. Okay, let's see here. Not worried about that. I'm curious. Okay, I want to find the article that showed up in my Twitter feed.
Go back up. Go back up.
All right. Oh, culture. See, this is the section that doesn't need to exist.
Right. Culture. No, but go back up a little bit.
How far up?
Up, down. Stop. What you need to know about Modern Warfare 2's confusing gun mods tuning. Like, that should be a video.
Well, we don't know that it isn't.
Click on it. Is it a video or no video? That's a screenshot.
No video.
Yeah, it should be a video, not an article. Sorry, not sorry. Shitty medium.
I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I prefer reading stuff.
I don't know. I think that's the type of thing that you need to like see. That's the type of thing you need to see.
Look at the comment right here. I'm mostly the camera aim down sight speed and others that make me quick on the pew pew.
But okay, here's the thing.
What a troll.
This is a mod and tuning thing. Like you're crafting, Chris. It's like a crafting mechanism, right? So you should be showing videos of it.
All right, it's time for IGN, okay? Let's see. IGN, isn't it International Gamer News or something, or Gaming News? Isn't that IGN? All right.
Something like that.
Here's my first issue. The first article has nothing to do with gaming.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever. This nonsense culture of videos. And
9 burning questions you have about Black Panther. Like, why would is there a Black Panther Wakanda Forever game I don't know about? Because last I checked, there isn't. Andor. Okay, here we go. Here's a gaming article. How NVIDIA and Valve gave Portal its ray tracing makeover. There you go. There's an actual freaking gaming article. That the top 4 stories are not what I would expect on IGN. And this new format is awful.
I've heard negative reviews about the movie anyway.
I have too, but I'm not going to judge it, since I won't watch it. All right, here, 21 things God of War Ragnarok doesn't tell you. Okay, that's a worthwhile thing, and it's a video, Andrew, just for you.
What 21 things? What do you mean 21 things it doesn't tell me? Well,
probably like related to things you can unlock, those kinds of things. That's what I'm assuming. It looks like they've got a lot of stuff on God of War Ragnarok, which tells me they got an advanced copy of it. But look at this. Today's top stories. I see 1 out of 4 is actually gaming related.
Yeah.
So in the top 8
things go down.
Top 1 second. The top 8 things on IGN, 2 out of the 8 things are gaming related. That's
down.
wrong.
Go down. Look at the tabs. You have latest videos, games, movies, TV, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo.
Yeah, but videos is just like, reviews on video.
I understand. I'm just letting you know that, look, you have games, movies, TV.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So
well, at least games is first.
No, but two out of the 3 topics on this website are not game related. So
yeah, you're not wrong.
Because PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo are subcats.
Oh, PC. Why is PC way the hell over there? And then, I thought it said trash. It says tech.
Oh, and tech. So
it's a trash.
So they have 4 things. They have 4 things that are not technically.
And you know what? For such a high-tech website, these scroll bars are the absolute worst thing you can implement on a website like this. This is just garbage innovation.
Well, they're discriminating against PC.
Anyways, let's see here. Oh, then they got Yellowstone stuff. Don't care. This is way okay. Kotaku, you get way major credit compared to this because this website is
a terrible. This is a terrible layout.
This is one of the worst.
You know they pay somebody. Also, oh my gosh, why do they have an article about Avatar: The Last Airbender? Go back up, please.
Dude, Avatar will never die. Okay. There's a new Avatar movie. This is probably the Netflix stuff. Paramount. Oh, I will never watch this. No way. No, I will never give Paramount the benefit of the doubt again. They did one good movie. They did Sonic. Sonic is the only good thing they've produced where I can give them credit because they actually went back on one of their garbage choices.
Can we just point out that the last time they tried to make a movie for this, it sucked?
Yeah, but this is the animated one. The one that they tried to make prior to was the real, IRL one, and that was awful. It
still sucked.
It was an abomination.
Just like the Assassin's Creed movie kind of sucked too. But that's
I actually for as bad as it was, I kind of liked it.
I mean, it doesn't compare to Prince of Persia. Is I think my take.
Oh man! All right,
I think Prince of Persia is much better as a movie.
All right, Kotaku, you beat IGN hands down. I don't even like this website.
No, this website hurts.
This is awful. It hurts me to watch. Game Informer.
Oh, I also hated their.
Oh, you know what?
Too.
Stop. They get extra props for putting extra life at the top of their page. Okay, Game Informer gets extra props for that. You know what extra life is? It's a donation to children.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It provides like gaming systems for kids in the hospital. It provides extra funding for these kids. It's a really cool thing. A friend of ours, Pete from Ever Canadian, donates to this every year. He's doing a 24-hour live stream, I think, soon. He was going to do it last week. He was sick. But this is a great program. And Game Informer, you get some kudos for having that at the top because you don't have to do that.
Chris, they wouldn't accept my last attempted donation. I tried to give
Extra Life wouldn't, huh?
Yeah, I tried to give them 20 copies of Grand Theft Auto, but they wouldn't take it.
Okay, all right, so here we go.
Just kidding.
Street Fighter 6 cover story and Sonic Frontiers review. Okay, that's gaming. Super Replay, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance Part 6. Okay, this is another walkthrough type of thing. There you go, Andrew. Sonic Frontiers review. Save Room, new gameplay today. Okay. Control 2 and Concept Stage. This is good actual news about gaming. Batman voice actor.
At least they tie it together in the thumbnail.
Yeah. New Dragon Age Absolution trailer review. Oh, there's a new Dragon Age trailer? I did not
see that, but I'm looking forward to that.
I'm gonna be looking that up later.
Wait.
Gia preview.
No, wait, that's not a game. It's not a game.
Oh, it isn't. Yeah, you're right. Okay, that's why I didn't care about it. Perfect.
Yeah. No, but they are going to do a new Dragon Age.
I know. That's why I was like, oh, great, they're gonna. But nope, that just ruined that. This looks like another Oceanhorn style reimagining of Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker.
Looks cool. But
we got the Super Nintendo World. That is very gaming related. I will give them that one, even though it's an amusement park. Google Stadia has begun issuing Stadia refunds. Actually, that's a really cool story that Google's actually giving people their money back who invested in Stadia. Those Stadia controllers will be like a historical keepsake at some point. All right. God of War Ragnarok director discovered he had aphantasia during development. Isn't that the one where you can't recognize people's faces? Aphantasia? I think that. Let me look it up. That is gaming, loosely gaming related, but not really. It could affect development if it's what I think it is.
I think that is actually what it is.
Inability to voluntarily create mental images in one's mind. Yeah, so it's basically like you can't recognize things. It's like actually, I learned about through the Zero Escape series, which is 9 hours, 9 doors, 9 persons, or whatever that is, and then Virtue's Last Reward, and then Zero Time Dilemma. That series is amazing, but one of the villains in the first game has the inability to recognize faces, so he can't figure out which person he has to kill throughout the series. So he's like eliminating people based on what they tell about their character traits, and he can't.
Nice.
He has no idea who's who.
The next one's a good article.
Everything's shown during Nintendo's November 2022 Indie World Showcase. Yes, even though that was one of the worst showcases they've had in a while.
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok. Yep, good stuff. Sonic Frontiers again.
I just don't like the chaoticness of.
It's very magazine-esque on a website that should be way simpler.
Yeah.
So no, I think Game Informer is definitely on top.
It's still the best one.
But we have to remember, the reason why Game Informer is not as bad as Kotaku and especially not IGN is because Game Informer is the publishing arm of GameStop, essentially. I know they've got a super close partnership with them. So their incentive is to sell games. So, of course, most of what they're going to talk about is games.
Which you have to still question their honesty in the reviews.
Yeah, you have to. I'm even okay with this. Netflix announcing Gears of War live action film and animated series because Gears of War is a gaming first franchise.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Ooh, BioWare's teasing the next Mass Effect. I'm not going to check that one out. But I think Game Informer is definitely the top tier of the 3 we've had so far.
No, it's almost been nothing but games. So that's
all right. Let's check out Polygon before I regret clicking on this. Polygon. Let's see what they say. Okay, depends at least on gaming and entertainment. I was gonna say I don't remember Polygon was exclusively gaming, and it clearly is not. All right, let's see here. Wakanda Forever, don't care. Conroy already discussed gaming related. NBA 2K23's worst builds are the best comedy in sports. So what are they like lowering the stats on characters to the point where they're awful? Like what?
Who knows?
I mean, okay. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever again, don't care. Books to read for the Twilight fans who've grown up. Nope, don't care. Horror game Signalis fixes one of gaming's most tired tropes. This tells me it's going to be cultural related.
Too many want to be like TV shows and stuff. That's what I'm
sorry, but if your article is about tropes in gaming, I'm already disinterested.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Studio Ghibli's Lucasfilm collaboration, whatever. I'm not going to rate them on the fact that they have entertainment items in here because they say right at the top here, gaming and entertainment. So they're not exclusively games. All right, let's keep going. Streaming one of the best games of the year on Twitch all month long. Okay, it'd be nice if you told me what that game was in the title.
Right.
Marvel Comics to Wakanda Forever was Rocket Fuel. Okay, whatever. Studio Ghibli, whatever. Polygon's 2022 Holiday Gift Guide. Okay, that's probably worth at least taking a look at. God of War Ragnarok, maybe the most technically impressive PS5 game yet. Finally, that's actually a decent article idea. Okay, all right, I'm good with that. Every new movie you can stream, whatever. Can you turn off Atreus and Memer? I don't know how you pronounce that word. Puzzle hints in God of War Ragnarok. That's a good. So that'd be like Navi and Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, being able to turn off those. Hey, listen. So like that might be a worthwhile article to read. Pokemon's Puma sneakers, don't care. Best, I don't know what that is. Do you know what this is? I don't know.
No idea, man.
I don't know. Doesn't sound right. Okay. Flesh and Blood, MTGs. Okay, so this is Magic the Gathering, and Andrew just died, so there's that.
I just lost my camera because my cat.
How did you manage to do that again?
My cat.
Oh, did it jump behind there again? Couch Co-op isn't dead. Here's their favorite split-screen games. Okay, there's an article I would read. Twitter reinstates official label after Mario flips the bird. Did you see that?
No.
Somebody made a fake Nintendo of America account and then got it verified using the $8
really?
Trick. And essentially what they did was I don't know if they had like a similar name and just changed it, and then they put a picture of Mario flipping the bird. So it looked like official Nintendo of America posted a picture of Mario flipping people off. And it blew up over 2 hours. Like in 2 hours.
I think that's so good publicity.
I think because Nintendo doesn't have to take credit for it. It's like there's nothing to apologize about. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right. Overwatch 2 Beginner's Guide, tips and tricks. Yeah, okay. I don't care about Overwatch, but okay.
Yeah.
Persona 5 Royal guides. So that's worth it for people that want a guide on Persona 5 Royal. Control will be getting a big budget sequel. That's interesting. I thought Control was a dead franchise. Oh, no, not Control. Mirror's Edge is the dead franchise that I'm thinking of. Never mind. Ash Ketchum has finally become the very best. Did you hear about this?
No, but that was also on the other website too.
Yeah, I guess they finally allowed Ash Ketchum to win the Pokemon Championship.
Really?
In the TV show, yeah.
That's funny.
So actually, what was cool was Japan decided to celebrate it by putting up banners all over the place that Ash Ketchum was finally the Pokemon Master in Japan. Oh, well. I thought it was pretty cool, but it is what it is, you know. I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. All right, 19 best games in PlayStation Plus games catalog. I like how they had to limit it to 19, but on Xbox Game Pass, they get 29. 10 extra games. All right. Polygon, you're above IGN, but you're below Kotaku and Game Informer. You agree?
Yeah, I agree completely.
All right. I'm going to hop into this question from Nathan Sifu real quick. One thing I have to give credit for the Prince of Persia movie. I'm surprised how much Jake Gyllenhaal looked like the prince from the game. They did a good job with that.
They did. They did a fantastic job.
All right, let's go to exclusivelygames.com. You know what's going to happen, right?
I know.
I believe the website's been. Yep, I was going to say the website died a while ago. Jeremy,
last place. Just kidding.
No, it used to be actually a really good website. It was well set up, but it was run off of donations. So eventually it was going to die.
Right.
I'm trying to think if there's any other gaming websites. If you guys are still watching, what gaming websites should we look? Oh, Gaming Trend. Actually, this is a good one. A friend of mine used to write for this website.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Okay, we got Gotham Knights, official collector's compendium review. We got Kingston Fury Renegade, Sonic Frontiers. Earbuds for Gaming.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Faces board gaming, but I'll give them credit because it's under a tabletop setting, so that's fine. Return to Monkey Island, Gotham Knights, Kingston Fury. Okay, and we got
it's mostly
Mario
gaming.
Rabbids, Persona 5. This is like gaming. All gaming.
Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah,
it's basically on the same level as Game Informer, I would say.
So this is one of those. How do I say it? Mainstream gaming adjacent, because they're not like mainstream, but they are good. So if you're looking for a new website to follow for actual gaming news, Gaming Trend's a great one to follow. Another one, Nintendo Life.
I like that they actually have reviews at the top.
Yep.
There's a tab. That's a good.
Nintendo Life's great if you look for Nintendo. Yeah.
If you want to see Mario giving the
Nintendo Life's a good one. This is a good one if you're just like specifically Nintendo. Another one, Dual Shockers. That's another good one for Nintendo, for specifically PlayStation. Like, if you want to get really exclusive to one platform, like there's some really good ones out there specifically for that. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Diablo Immortal. Nintendo Japan may refuse repair requests. Okay, so that's a outside of gaming, inside of gaming article. Diablo 4, Sea of Thieves, Sega Saturn. Actually, that's a good idea. Sega Saturn's next mini console should be Sega Saturn. I agree. Valhalla, best detective game. Yeah, I mean, these are actually good websites. People should not be following IGN and like the other websites that go for hate clickbait articles.
Yeah.
There's a lot of much better websites out there. Another one is, I think, X.
I don't know. I just feel like you're also just as good searching for the games that you actually want to get reviews and stuff.
I would go to Google and search for what you want to read about, and then pick a non-mainstream website. Because
at this rate, these websites, I still think they're a little chaotic. I think all of them are a little chaotic for you to just review them from time to time. I don't think you're ever going to catch the information you want without like legit searching. So you're just as good using
unless you go to CHRILLCAST.com, then you'll find everything you want.
Sure, Chris.
Anyways, let's see here. If you want to find, let's just say God of War Ragnarok review, and it spelled it wrong, so that's even better.
Avoid IGN.
Top one is IGN. I wouldn't go to that one. Game Ranks they're pretty good. They've gotten pretty mainstream, but they're pretty good. Their channel's fallen off quite a bit over the years. They've had some of their best writers and creators kind of leave and do their own thing. Like I think Jake Baldino used to be part of them, and now he does his own thing. But Game Ranks is pretty solid. Happy Console Gamer, I do like him a lot. He's good. I don't know who this is, so I don't know if they're good or bad, to be honest with you. Don't know who that is either. Extra Life? Extra Life? I don't know.
Honestly, I would tell people not to just watch one video.
Skill Up is good. I like Skill Up.
I would say watch multiple videos and see what people
think. We forgot about GameSpot. Dude, I didn't even know they still existed.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. It just shows you how much I actually pay attention when the ER doctor asks the God of War fight injuries. I would probably watch that, actually. Okay, anyways, keep going. All right. But, I mean, don't go to What Culture Gaming. No. Avoid that one like the plague. I've gotten accidentally into playlists with What Culture in it. They're not worth watching. Just avoid it. Just like, what is it? Mojo. Watch Mojo. Don't do those either. They pretty much just plagiarize other people's stuff. All right. Gaming Bolt's pretty good. Push Square. That's another one I couldn't think of. They're pretty good. But you know what's funny is like most of independent media, Digital Foundry. Okay, if you want to dig into the most technical aspects of gaming, they are probably the best channel, bar none.
Okay.
I don't know how much you've ever paid attention to Digital Foundry, but
none.
They analyze every version of a game running on every available platform. So let's just say Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, okay.
They analyzed the Steam version on Windows, Linux, and maybe even they got it running on a Mac. I have no idea. They did the Xbox One version, the PS5 version, the PS4 version, every version of it. They analyzed it down to every technical piece of information, like frame rate during cutscenes was something they analyzed on Cyberpunk 2077. Which glitches appeared on which parts of the game on which platforms. Like they were all over it. Digital Foundry is hands down the best technical breakdown of any game I've ever seen. Like there is bar none. They are top quality when it comes to that. They also have thick English accents. Anyways, not that matters at all. Okay. But if you're looking for like the most technical review of something, like from a technical standpoint, not necessarily like gameplay review, they're the best.
I mean, this person gave it a 6 out of 10.
All right, let's see here. Dreamcast guy, that's somebody you can avoid. I've never found anything in like I just don't find him interesting in the least. All right, Young, yeah, he's pretty good. Penguins, I didn't even know Charlie's doing game reviews. I don't know. I wouldn't watch him, but I'm just surprised to see him doing anything with it. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I mean Paul Tassi, that's the Forbes writer. It's as good as you've heard. So he's like one of the exclusive Forbes writers for gaming. He's okay. Yeah. I mean that's as far as I'm gonna go with that. We're going down the rabbit hole far enough.
It's pretty far down the rabbit hole of just this one set of video.
The one thing, there's Jake Baldino. I like Jake Baldino. He's good. He's the one that left Game Ranks. I'm pretty sure he's left Game Ranks. 90% sure about that. Anyways, long story short, I think if you could find an independent creator that you like, I just keep watching that person. Yeah. Like if there's somebody that pretty much aligns with your takes on gaming, that's the person I would watch to get new takes on new games.
No, I completely agree. If you find someone that you like, there's nothing else you really need, really.
And it really doesn't matter if they've got 1 subscriber or 10 million. Like, if you agree with that person, just watch their stuff. Like, who cares? There's no shame in watching somebody that has 1 subscriber or 1 million.
I mean, you gotta realize that your perception on if it's a good review or not is if it's accurate to how you feel about the game when you if you finally play it. So everyone's unique. It's just finding that person that you share a review opinion with and you think is a good like judge for you. So
like if you go to a Let's Play channel and they play all the same games as you, that's probably somebody you can trust. Probably. Unless they like the games for entirely different reasons than you do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say is like go find someone. If you wanted to see what you think of the reviews, watch the review of games that you've already played so that you can like assess if you agree with them or not. Yeah. And then you can have a general idea on like, okay, I haven't played this game. This person's opinion is still valid.
Yeah, I would agree. So is there any way, Andrew, in your opinion, for mainstream gaming news to do a course correction and fix themselves?
No.
I think if they drank enough coffee brand coffee with, promo code CHRILLCAST, they might be able to fix themselves.
I don't think they can, just because look at that list of YouTube videos, man. look at that list.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's an obscene amount of reviews for one video. And so like what distinguishes them enough to make it where their business model works?
Here's the other thing. My biggest gripe with a lot of these reviews is 15 minutes long enough to get an accurate review of something as big as God of War Ragnarok? No. It's not. Like, this is a first thoughts video from Happy Console Gamer, and it's 10 minutes. First thoughts.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, like that ending explained 37 minutes and they reviewed it in 15. Like that's not going to be in depth. It's going to be like, we played it. It was good. You should play it. That's it. That's what that's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, that's all it can be.
A good review of a game this big is going to take you far longer than that.
I just wouldn't, I don't know. Depending on who it is, I just wouldn't trust it.
Skeptical review, 30 minutes.
Okay. 15 minutes. I think you could do a review in 15 minutes. It depends on if you're trying to have spoilers or not.
Not from IGN, you can't, because IGN in 15 minutes is going to be 5 minutes of fluff.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm saying, like, if I was to do a review for a game, I could probably do a 15-minute review for a game if I'm trying
Digital Foundry did a tech review, and it took them a half hour, okay? Yeah. Like, they weren't even necessarily talking about how good the game is. This was tech review. 30 minutes on tech review.
Okay. I get it. Like, I'm just saying it is possible if you're trying to
6 out of 10 5-minute review.
only has 7,000 views.
That's funny.
Although
6 out of 10 with God of War Ragnarok, that's clearly a guy trying to get clicks.
I'm not bothered.
Oh man, that's funny. Okay.
It's just with IGN, they're just gonna talk about a bunch of stupid shit. So
like,
I wouldn't.
I can't look. Here we go. Here's a real review. 33 minutes. God of War Ragnarok's a masterpiece.
No, I think 30 minutes is the proper amount of time for it. I'm just saying someone could potentially still give you a substantial.
I don't think
review.
You can give somebody a good feel for what they're going to be like. If I was going to buy God of War Ragnarok, I would want to if I'm going to spend 10 hours of my life playing God of War Ragnarok, which I'm assuming is probably about the time frame that this game lasts, I want at least 30 minutes. I'm going to buy it.
Okay, Chris, I'll say this. The articles that people would write back in the day as a game review or a sneak peek were less than 15-minute reads.
That's why YouTube wins.
I know, but I'm just telling you that you can still give a substantial, this is what I've seen, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. I think the mechanics are good. I think this. Now, if you're trying to get a feel for what the story is and if you actually like the game or if you think it's shitty, you need at least 30 minutes. But if you're trying to do what the articles used to be for game journalism reviews and stuff, you could totally do it in 15 minutes. The read of one of those was less than 15 back in the day. So
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that these IGN 15-minute videos are essentially much worse versions of those articles.
Yeah. What you're talking about is substance over
15-minute
what the
IGN
time
thing tells me they didn't
is.
review it. It's got to be at least.
Yeah.
IGN would have to put out half-hour videos for me to trust that.
Okay, you're talking about the substance of their specific review.
That's exactly
not the substance of a quality person doing a review.
Yes.
That's okay. Then
because I know what their format is.
Yeah, IGN's format, they need an hour actually to prove it.
I'm not gonna go that far, but
if they can manage to make an hour-long video, I'll believe they played it.
I think IGN should just be a Let's Play channel. No, I'm just kidding.
That'd be hilarious.
Okay.
I think people would actually watch that just because they would assume half of them are terrible gamers.
This is going to be God of War Ragnarok's Norse mythology accuracy is better than most. They got Fat Thor.
That'd be a great one to watch. It's 10 minutes.
I mean, if they're just talking about the Norse mythology accuracy, 10 minutes is probably long enough. GameSpot, 6 minutes. Oh, early game tips. Never mind. That's fine. Spoiler-free impressions. Okay, so impressions I could believe in 12 minutes. It's hard for me to believe that some of these are actual reviews. That's kind of hard.
Right. No, that's fair.
Now, if somebody could write up a review and break it down section by section like they used to do, so I guess maybe you and I are coming at it from a different perspective. A magazine review, I would not expect to last more than a page, maybe 2 pages tops, unless it's
no, they were remember they could be 3 pages back.
I'm just saying, if it was a masterpiece of a game, I might expect 4 pages.
Yeah,
you might get 2 front and back pages. But as far as a website, you can break it down. The amount of information that let me go backwards. The limited number of pages you had in a magazine to print a review meant that you had to give the most substantial information in the shortest amount of time, shortest amount of space. Whereas a website, you're talking several kilobytes per, I don't know, 10 paragraphs. So you could do a ton more in-depth review, graphics. You could say the graphics are this, this, and this. Boom, boom, boom. The controls, this is the accuracy, the latency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You have a lot more freedom in a website style review than you do on a magazine style review.
Yeah.
That's not to say people didn't get lazier on websites though.
But my point is this. A lot of people just want that overview review that they used to have in the magazine still.
Some people do, yeah.
A lot of people want that. So, because you don't want to spend a shit ton of time just listening to someone go on and on and on and on about nuanced little things. You want to hear what the overall is, right?
Which is why you go to Metacritic and then you look at user reviews instead of critics.
Exactly.
The user reviews, like, it's just more accurate. There's more of us out there than there are game critics.
I mean, it's one of those things where I don't see the value in critics necessarily existing anymore. Maybe there's a critic who has like a very who's just an expert opinion.
I can see the value I see here is if a game gets botted, then you can default to same with Twitter verified. If there's a bot out there, like a botnet, if you have the verifieds versus the unverifieds, at the very least you have checks and balances.
Well, I mean, there's even YouTube and stuff. I guess my take would be that the critics are almost more of a quality control reference for the studio itself.
Yeah.
I don't think that the critics provide any value to the gamers.
Yeah.
But then again, the studios need to like fire the critics they currently got because they're kind of shit. So they don't provide any value to the gamers. So.
I finally found the article that made me so angry and wanted to make this video in the first place.
Oh.
Should we show it?
Sure.
All right. This is the kind of stuff that I don't care to see at all, and I don't see any point in why this article is very awful. We need to start holding Japanese RPGs to higher standards, respecting Japanese video games, being not treating them with kid gloves. It sounds like it's a legit article, and then you read what the standards they're talking about are. Mm-hmm. They're saying that they're misguided about the next game's overwhelming what's the right word here? Lack of color. Lack of
representation.
And here's the issue I have with this article. Okay, so maybe they produced one game that was set in a location that might be less diverse than others. But let's just go back to Final Fantasy as a franchise, and there's plenty of inclusivity and diversity within the games. Not every single game has to be written and built the same way. Character dynamics don't have to be. You're limiting the ability to create your own unique worlds by telling people they must include specific characteristics for every game. And that is, I don't even know what you're like putting people in a box by telling them they have to include everybody.
Well, let's just be honest.
In every game.
There's worlds that just don't exist. They're make-believe.
They're all imaginary. Every single one of these worlds is imaginary. Why do you have to tell people how to make their world?
But like, here's the thing: why are you having to make the stipulation that people are all different in the worlds? Why can't you just?
And who made you the police on inclusivity and diversity?
Right? Like, does it make sense?
If people are really upset about this, they won't buy the game.
Yeah, but it's just like, why does it have to? You're trying to force people to write a story to involve many different cultures, because it's still like skin color. It's just there's background to why people look the way that they look. I don't understand why they just want it. I don't know. It needs to make sense in the story. It needs to make
Final
sense.
Fantasy VII. Look at this cast. This is Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. Are they ignoring that this game exists?
Yes.
I mean, you have to have this kind of take. You have to ignore the fact that Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake exists to make this take about Final Fantasy. That's what I'm saying. You have to ignore facts to write an article like this.
I am so confused by the comment right now in the chat.
I think gaming journalism has become the common person who thinks that what she thinks is the norm and is worsened by their fanboys from all sides. Oh yeah, that's definitely a take. Francisco's cool. But Francisco, I correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think English is his first language.
Yeah.
He's trying to phrase it, and I think he might be missing a few words in there. But gaming journalism has become essentially like me or you writing an article and thinking that our viewpoint is the same as everybody else's, even though it probably isn't.
Right.
It's like being ignorant of everybody else's opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I know if I write an article, there are going to be people that disagree with me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's what he's saying. He's saying that no matter who you are, when you jump into this and you write the article, people are going to disagree with you, and you have to be ready to accept that and not get so defensive. Like, this person wrote 2 articles. This isn't the first one they wrote. This is the second one they wrote. The first one they wrote was Final Fantasy devs has a terrible answer for why the game is the same thing we talked about earlier. And I'm like,
how did they get 2 articles out of this? I'm confused.
Final Fantasy 7, you're ignoring it. I mean, to say that Final Fantasy is not a diversely written cast over the years
Chris,
is ignoring that Final Fantasy 7 exists.
Chris, they wanted all the characters to be black. Get it right, man. Get it right. Let's just Can we just point out the ironic aspect of this? If the new Final Fantasy came out and every single character in it was just randomly made to be all black, every single one, that writer would say it was the most diverse, inclusive game ever made, and there would be no diversity in it whatsoever. Let's just point that out.
I don't know that that's the way they would write it, Andrew. I can say that I doubt the article would have got written.
Once, I'll put it this way, they are I don't know, man. I feel like they would write it that way still. I mean, they wouldn't write an article probably because they would think it was the greatest, most diverse thing ever.
I guess there is another one about Kingdom Come Deliverance. Although, isn't Kingdom Come Deliverance
that's been out for a long time. Yeah.
But isn't that a European game? Like,
yeah,
it's not a European game. It's set in European.
It's both.
Setting,
it's both. It's a European developer, and it was a game set in Poland/Hungary area, Czech area. I forget exactly which country. Eastern Europe during the whole like conflicts out there back in the medieval era.
I'm saying like it's very jarring. It's very jarring to me when you're in a time period and you're changing what the time period looked like.
I mean,
here's the best part. You know, just because all of the characters look a certain way or do a certain thing does not mean that you can't hire a diverse voice cast. Like, I mean, there's no rule on who voices what.
Right. I guess the thing is this. It's medieval Europe. That portion of Europe, I guess you could have Turks, right? You could have some Turkish soldiers or something traveling through, but you didn't really get anyone over there from Asia or Africa obviously it's the medieval era. You're not going to have any people from North or South America either.
That's true.
So it's
you're not going to have like natives from North America either.
Yeah, and you're sure as heck not going to have any Polynesians in Eastern Europe at the time. So it's like, I think a big problem is, well,
the thing is, you could write a
historical ignorance.
You could write a game in South America at the same time frame about something, and then everybody there would be South American. That's not like inherently a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's a wide range here. And you know what what he just said, I mean, I knew somebody in college who was from his family was Mexican. He looked super white. There was another person in college who refused to treat him actually recognize the fact that he was technically Hispanic. Like another minority, a different minority group was like, he looks too white, so they didn't. There was discrimination there between minorities. So
I think the problem is that we focus too much on characteristics that you cannot change.
Yeah.
As opposed to writing good content. Exactly.
Yeah.
If your focus is immediately looking at something and saying this is going to be, or this is not this because I want this and this isn't what you're giving me, okay, go find something else. Like, don't buy it. Like, voting with your wallet is a real thing.
Right.
If you don't like what a studio is doing, even if you and I disagree about it, like, let's just say I think Final Fantasy 16 is amazing, which I don't. I don't like Final Fantasy. But if you think it's amazing and I think it sucks, we can both vote with our wallets. You can buy it and I cannot buy it. Easiest way to make changes is to not buy something or buy something.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing for me. I don't care overall. I just don't. I just want, as long as the plot makes sense.
Yeah.
Plot has to make sense.
Something that's well written and done well. Like let's say implementation of the game is made well.
Yeah.
The story's good.
So
like it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's well made. You
can have as much diversity as you want in a story.
Yeah.
Let's go this way. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Kevin Costner's, right? They have the guy who is the Moor, who goes with Kevin Costner back to England, right? There's a black character who's in England. Well, it makes sense because they wrote his character to explain why the heck he shows up there. He's a Moor who goes with Robin Hood back to England, right? There's just like the problem with Rings of Power. Obviously, this is the easy one. And because they kept calling everyone racist, it's like they don't explain why people look different. If you simply say someone's a traveler,
there's
or
no
their
world
family
building.
You have to world build. Like, okay, this character in the show, he's in Final Fantasy that you're showing right now on the screen. He's clearly different than everybody. I'm assuming he has a background story. I'm assuming it kind of explains why he doesn't look like everybody else.
Well, this is a more modern game. It's meant to be like, I think it's. Now you're gonna make me remember what the heck Final Fantasy's plot is for number 7, but it's like it's like a cyberpunk Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
like it already makes sense.
Then if they exist, it makes sense. Like that's my point. It makes sense within the story.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're going to add somebody into, because Kingdom Come Deliverance was listed, right? You have to make it make sense.
I remember
it's a lot of effort.
I'm not a big like modern Final Fantasy fan. I liked the OGs on like the NES, SNES, and then the remakes on the Game Boy Advance because I like turn-based game like JRPGs. So Final Fantasy has become a real-time, more of a real-time combat game, like more like Xenoblade. And then therefore I don't like the new Final Fantasies. But one of the major complaints in the Final Fantasy VII remake was how washed down, how watered down the character was in the remake compared to what he was in the original. Like he looks like a badass.
Right.
And they watered him down in the remake from the things I've read. So that's like I would be mad.
Right.
I wouldn't want a badass character to be watered down for the sake of a remake. That doesn't work. Like I would be angry. Like for example, if they ruin the world of KOTOR in the remake, I don't care what characters they put in it or what representation is there. If it's a bad game, it's a bad game.
Yeah. No, that's 100% fair, man.
But yes, I think the most powerful thing you can do if you don't like what Japanese developers are doing,
don't buy
their game. Don't buy their games.
Oh, I was gonna say write your own story.
I mean, you can do that too. That's the same argument as learn to code.
No, anyone can write. Anyone can write a story. Anyone can write a story.
Write your own fan fiction.
Yeah, write your own. There you go. Go plagiarize. You uncreative.
Only if you sell it. It's only plagiarization if you sell it.
I don't. Just go usurp someone else's creation for your own. Just like don't force the actual author to change it for you. You just go write your own.
Kotaku. These are the articles that make me not want to read your website at all. Like
the fact that made it through past an editor.
Yeah, that's
hilarious. That's a website that has no quality control. That's what that is.
This is what I see on Twitter. So like whoever's sharing the Kotaku articles on Twitter, these are the things that are getting shared. So like clearly people, and I'm curious now what the comment section says. This is always the most fun, is because like they usually have like, let's see here. The Yakuza series is weird because they really do have a heavy scene about not bullying or accepting certain people, and then turn around and have an extremely sexist side character or horribly written female character. Okay, all right, whatever.
Well, hey Chris.
Well, I mean that's meant to be written like the actual Yakuza, so there's that.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I just want to point this out. This comment from Francisco. You know, he said recently I saw in a Reddit post about a diverse remake for Mirror's Edge. Dude, the protagonist is Asian. In the last game, it had a Latino friend. I don't understand this. Okay, like the reality is, there's been literal articles from journalists out there claiming that Asians are white. Okay,
I have heard that. Yeah,
and they're claiming the same thing about Cubans now. All right, so like, there's some weird, wacky things where it's like, it's more than just like, yeah. It doesn't make any sense. It's silly. They're silly people. I think that's the thing to realize.
This is actually pretty true. I know most, well, my brother-in-law not included, but most of Gen Z do not play games before, at least the writers on the websites do not play games before 2010. Now, I know personally some Gen Zers that play games before 2010, but they're not writing articles for Kotaku.
I've come to, yeah. Gen Z hasn't very interesting.
They have really interesting habits when it comes to gaming.
They just have interesting habits, and I think there's a TikTok culture that is terrible. All right, like it's just bad. That's my hot take on it. They just have the attention span of TikTok.
You know what, Andrew? This is a great point. There are plenty of games out there where you can make your own character.
Right.
That game can be as diverse or as awful as you want it to be.
Well, here's the thing. I think they've still complained about things like Skyrim and stuff. And
that's you get your own character. You make your own character, right?
Yeah, they still complain, bro, because
with the amount of mods on PC, you can make your character a freaking dragon if you want.
They'll complain anytime you try to build, like, to them, it's a crime to build a unique culture within a game that is like homogenous in any sense of the word. It is a crime to them, right? Like the fact.
To be fair, the bulk of medieval groups of people would be homogenous. That's just the way.
Yeah. No, like the thing is, the fact that the plot can only make sense if the general location is homogenous, culturally homogenous.
Well, because if it wasn't, then you're probably having two factions fighting.
Yeah. So it's like they are literally trying to eliminate a whole section of like plot devices and history. And just reality, right? They're trying to eliminate reality from storytelling. And it's just one of those things where you can't ignore it. And they want you to pretend like it's not real. It's against reality, right? And I don't know. I have no patience for that. Just like, okay, this is a weird one. When they remade Beauty and the Beast, you know, Disney made the live action with Emma Watson and everything.
Yep.
Disney made it where the royal household had people from like every far corner of the universe in that like royal household, and it was just like, I don't understand how all these people made it here. It's like a complete like break of immersion into like what the setting is supposed to be of like that time period of Europe. So it's just weird, right? I don't know. Maybe I take it too seriously about plot, and like you pick a setting and you should adhere to what the limitations of it are. If you're in like a time before cars, people don't get to travel very far in a day. So you're not going to have like you going to the next village. You should show up as like, oh, I haven't seen you around these parts. What are you doing here? Like something as strange as that. You kind of need it, but I don't know.
You can't expect me to be able to sympathize with someone other than me. I have to be in the game. If not in it, I don't get it. I mean, sure. If that's the way you feel, then buy games where you're the you get to create your own protagonist.
Yeah. Well, did you show this one? They complain about it and everything. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Every single game they've complained about it. I don't know. It's...
Here's the best comment. We need to hold all video games to a higher standard. There's a percentage of boring, time-wasting garbage than there ever has been before.
No, it's true. I mean, they've tried to make it where...
Look at this. And as a female person of color, the number one thing I look for in any game is an astounding, is this fun?
Yeah.
What I saw in the trailer did not look fun. And I don't think a more diverse cast would fix what was wrong there. See, this is exactly what I'm saying. You can't save bad writing.
Yeah.
And no matter what you do to it, bad writing cannot be saved. Okay? Good writing can make up for a lot of stupid things being done in a game. The Witcher 1 is an awful game to slog through in modern era, but it is fun because the story there saves it.
I mean, this comment from Francisco again, like, for me, Mulan. I think Mulan
the original,
is the best example of a woman that shows by
that.
Work that can do the same things. In the new one, it's entitled to because, yes, girl. Like, yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. At
original
one point,
Mulan was great.
Dude, okay. When did the writing change? I'm trying to place it now because when did the different Assassin's Creed games come out?
Hey, no. Red is making fun of the article writer.
Yeah,
I've read thousands of articles until they put me in the game. Okay, he's trolling. Sorry.
No, but it's true. It's true.
No, it's true.
Everything he said is true. No, the thing is though, think of like Assassin's Creed, right? The women characters in that were solid. Early Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
Women characters in movies were pretty dang solid up through like in the 2000s.
I watched Tank Girl. That was actually a pretty decent movie.
No, but like, okay, what I'm trying to say though is there wasn't this complete infantilism of like women characters and the writing for them to just be like instant badass for no reason. Like that didn't exist until like 2013. I think it really was like 2013.
So to be fair though,
it's gotten increasingly worse.
I know how Mary Sue that Katniss kind of is.
Oh no, man!
But I liked that show.
No, okay, she's not. Katniss isn't that bad. In the books, if you read the books,
so much better than she should be.
Okay, in the books, she's not bad as a Mary Sue. She's inherently frustrating because.
But her development isn't her physical character. Her development is her emotional and understanding. There's development there.
Well, okay, let me put it this way. The Hunger Games books, right? The books for that. Katniss is an extremely flawed character.
This is exactly what you're talking about with Robin Hood, right? The Moors situation.
Yeah. But I mean, also, well, yeah. The thing I was trying to say though is, with like the Hunger Games, Katniss is an extremely flawed character. You know, like the entire story is technically pointless. Like none of the stuff that happened after book 1 needed to happen. It's purely her own like childishness. She made the whole thing unnecessary. Like the whole thing is only because of her like selfish child behaviors. She's inherently a badass for no real reason. Yeah, sure, kind of Mary Sue, but I mean, they had her having to hunt and stuff, right? So
yeah,
it made sense why she had good skills. It didn't come from nowhere, is what I'm saying, right? It didn't come from nowhere. There's worse Mary Sues. I'm trying to think of them at the moment. I would say Divergent is more Mary Sue by far.
Yeah.
I would say
no. Divergent is just your coming of age teenage generic drama.
No, but they made her kind of Mary Sue.
They did. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that just felt like a coming of age Mary Sue story. All right. Here's another interesting thing here. I saw this comment right here. What you're talking about wasn't even the main issue people brought up. The main issue is not caring when a game has a focus on a specific homogenous culture that isn't white. But when it is one that's pretty much entirely white, like Europe in the time frame that this game supposedly takes place, suddenly we have to change it. Just because there are fictional elements added in already. It's like, just because you have dragons in medieval Europe does not mean that you have to change everything about medieval Europe.
Right.
Dragons, obviously were not dragons in medieval Europe.
I mean, they're part of the mythos of medieval Europe.
No. I'm just saying, like, obviously there weren't real dragons in medieval Europe. But that doesn't, like, it still fits the time period.
Right. Like, I mean, okay.
But then you get these just, like, stupid responses. Like,
you
try to argue a point, and
I'm pretty sure those are bots.
And here's the thing. Whatever the creator's vision is, let them bring it forward. And then if you hate it, then you can tell them all you want. But let's not try to change. Like, if you have to insert something into everybody else's art, you're not.
Okay, Chris.
You're not the creator. So, okay, just don't buy it. It's not your game.
Chris, let's put it this way. Tolkien with the elves, right? The elves. Would it make any sense for the elves to have a unique language, unique culture, and everything, right? Completely unique situation to everybody else, and not look alike at all?
If he wrote it that way, maybe, but I don't.
Maybe, but like, would it make no? But like, given the concepts of the genetics.
Well, it was isolationist island folk.
Yeah.
Like, no, it does not make sense.
It does not make any sense, right? Because they've all intermixed for centuries, and so
it's like the Lannisters.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So when they complain about it, it's like, well, I'm sorry, he wrote the story this way. His focus, did he include them in the? Yeah, he didn't write the story to encompass the whole bloody world. Those other people
it was meant to be.
They're talked about. They're just not part of this story because it wasn't his focus.
Yeah, that is the main argument, basically, that they make in the article. But here's the thing.
Silly. It is so silly.
Facts of history. History itself can be racist at times. That is a fact. There are racist parts of history. But
what do you mean?
But the facts of history are just facts. That's just what they are.
But what do you mean by
I'm saying like
racist?
Enslaving people is probably a racist thing to do.
Well, okay.
I'm not going down that path, Andrew. I'm just saying, like, that is inherently like one person owning another. Okay, all right, fine. I'll just say this: slavery existed. It's always existed. And even
the origins of slavery was not out of racism, though.
That is a fact. It was out of prisoners of war most of the time.
More so religion than
religion,
not part of your empire.
Ignoring that, let me just say what I'm saying.
Fine.
I'm saying like aspects of history can have a racial background or be racist, but just because they are does not mean they're not facts of history.
Right. I mean, there's slavery today. To this very day, there's slavery.
History books have a ton of issues. Main one being, I'm not in them. You're gonna start critiquing history there, Colors of Gaming? No. I guess what I'm trying to say is like just because you don't like history doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right. I mean, there's only if you want a diverse story, right? Like an actually diverse story. There's only a few places that you can have a truly diverse story. If you need to have it
if it's in the modern era.
No, because the modern era isn't nearly as diverse as people want to say. It's not really.
Some places are.
No, but some places are. If you want a truly diverse story, like setting that makes perfect sense, you need to do America or Canada, like North America in like the younger generation. Makes perfect sense if you're interacting with a ton of younger people, or especially if you're in a city. Okay, very diverse. All right, Brazil. You want to have in Brazil? It's the most diverse country on the planet.
Is that actually a fact?
Yes, because they have the most amount of people brought over for the slave trade. The vast majority. So it is actually the most diverse country.
Interesting.
Then you have, but you're not going to get diversity in China. You're not going to get diversity in plenty of countries.
You're definitely not going to get diversity in China.
The vast majority, like I think, even most European countries, it's like not that high of a percentage for non.
It's getting more diverse due to the
but like 15% tile, I think, and it's still like sub that, man. It's not that high.
But to argue that homogenous cultures don't exist in the modern era is a false.
Most countries are homogenous. That's a simple fact. If you want a diverse story, don't put it in Finland. Simple fact. Don't put it there.
If you want a diverse culture, write a fiction.
Yeah, seriously. Straight up fiction and create the universe based how you want it.
Argentina is practically Germans and Italians. Interesting. Isn't that because of World War II? A lot of them migrated over there?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
No, there's literal provinces in Argentina and also South Brazil where they have a huge Oktoberfest. It's basically Germany.
Yeah, I saw that posted about a little while ago. Yeah.
It is basically Germany.
Yeah, I saw. I think a friend of ours who's actually from Brazil who moved. So a friend of ours migrated from Brazil to Germany, and he's like one of the few that went the opposite way. So he always has comments about stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Anyways, long story short, to pretend like homogenous cultures don't exist is like denying reality. But if you want to write a fiction that is diverse, be my guest.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's okay. It's one of those things where
it doesn't.
Personally, I think it has to make sense still. Personally, I think it still does.
Okay, no, I don't. I think if you write your own fiction, it doesn't have to make sense. You just have to write it well. Like, let's just say this. If you have a group of characters that are make a good team and good writing, I don't like, and if you don't give any origin stories to anybody, you're just kind of like a person insert in this world. Like, okay,
is that good though? Okay, that now I have to challenge that. Is that good world building?
In certain worlds, you don't have to really explain it. Like Cyberpunk, I don't need an explanation where people.
Yes. You're talking about something that's futuristic that like you're assuming the world has combined, blah blah, because it's on the trend that we know and experience. But if you're doing like a medieval style setting of a story and like something that we've known already as humans, right?
Okay, but if it's on a different planet, then who cares? Like medieval on Mars.
But okay, here's my thing. Like, yes.
That's a great concept for a game, medieval Mars.
Okay.
I love it.
One, if they're humans and they all randomly look different, that has to be explained because it's completely different than what we know about human biology.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, but if you just want to write your own, like, if somebody wants to write their own fiction and do whatever they want with it, like, cool, be my guest.
But like one of the biggest, you got to realize too that the biggest source of conflict in all stories, all story arcs, are differences. A large segment. If you just make everyone different, but it doesn't mean anything to the story, then you're basically eliminating historical conflicts that could exist between different groups. You're eliminating mistreatment of others based on looks because it doesn't make any sense because it's random, right? So it doesn't have any bearing on like, oh, our genetic lineage is better than yours, or you're part of the group that does this versus this. Like, you're completely eliminating those aspects from society because it's random, right? It doesn't matter.
If a group of people live in an area long enough, their culture becomes homogenous over time.
Yeah. Well, they genetically and culturally become homogenous.
Right.
So what I'm saying is
the melting pot of America will eventually be all mostly uniform if the pockets that exist now eventually mingle.
Right. So it's either you've overcome those differences, and now you're completely one undistinguishable group of people. Or
although hopefully not the South Park future.
Or there's room for conflict. So basically, your plot has to make sense. That's all I'm saying.
Either conflict or intermingling will solve the non-homogeneous culture.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, if you make it where you completely ignore it, like, then it doesn't make sense.
If you want, like, I guess what you're saying is, diverse characters need diverse backgrounds.
Yes,
that makes sense.
Otherwise, it's just, but because
you don't want,
and it doesn't make sense.
You don't want insert character here,
right? Because it does. Okay, it's different than hair color. It's different than hair color because hair color can be color can be random, to a certain extent random. All right, because of recessive genes, eye color. You can have eye color that's different than your parents. Fine.
All of my kids have blue eyes except my daughter. And my eyes are blue on the screen, but that's not real.
but the thing is, Chris, like, the overall look of the population would be homogenous on some scale if it was actually like a group of people that did not have any outside.
You would need some kind of migration in order to get people that look different in the same area.
Yes, because you are the product of your environment.
Oh yeah, see, look, this is what I'm talking about. Remember the guy I showed you a minute ago? Him?
Yeah.
Look what they did to him in the remake.
You gotta put that on the screen so people can. You gotta show it on the screen so people can see.
Oh, I'm sorry, you can't. Yeah. Look what they did to him.
Wait, it looks like they made him more Hispanic than black.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is like a.
They made him ambiguous. They made him ambiguous.
I can see why people argued about this more, because this guy looks badass, and this guy looks like he wants to be badass.
I mean, he looks like he's okay. The one guy doesn't look like he's real. The first guy doesn't look real. Okay, let's go back to that.
Well, yeah, he's a cartoon character. Of course he doesn't.
Yeah, but look at what they've done with all the characters. Compare both sets of characters. Compare both. All they did was try to make them seem more real, more human, like less uncanny valley.
Yeah.
I think they just tried to do realism and they kind of lightened them up a bit, probably because of the Chinese market. Let's be honest.
I'm going to exit this while I do this next search.
Let's be honest. They probably did that. They probably did that specifically because of the Chinese market. No, just look at the history here of what the Chinese market demands. Finn from the Star Wars posters was made very small, specifically for their advertisements. So,
yeah, look at this. This is what they did to this character. Look at him. They really did lighten him up quite a bit.
I'm telling you, it's for the Chinese market. That should be the complaint. If you want to, if you're a journalist, you should actually point out the fact that the Chinese market has caused characters to be made less dark. Straight up.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably part of it, I'm sure. They wanted to make him look more human. But the exaggerations are kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, he does look more like a Gears of War character.
That's true. He does actually look Gears of War.
But honestly, though, like the whole cartoony nature of the 90s is a style in and of itself.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that. And I actually would rather have some more of that than the physics.
No, but you're forgetting Gen Z don't like it.
Yeah, Gen Z, well, they like Fortnite. Fortnite's not realistic looking.
It's different. It's not the 90s cartoony style.
Back to the whole point. Kotaku, when you write articles like this,
stop sucking.
I don't read your stuff. I just don't.
That's
Like if you're not telling me about how good a game is or how bad a game is, I don't care. Like that's just where I'm at.
They're criticizing something that they have no right to criticize. That's my hot take.
I think they can criticize it. I'm just not going to read it. I'm just not going to read it.
No, until they like if they want to criticize something that's not real, like it's not their story, man. It's not their story. They have no right. They have no right to bitch about world.
You're telling me that they have no right to criticize it. By the same token, we have no right to criticize them. Like, if that's the way you're going
no, completely different. They have no right to criticize the world builder for how they built the world. We have every right to criticize them.
I'm saying that they have the right to criticize it, but I can ignore them entirely and I don't care.
That's fair. I'm just saying, like, for example, they can't criticize Tolkien for how he built his world. His universe exists. He created it.
I'm going to end on this note, though. Gen Z's dream come true is Darth Vader with an Uzi. In Fortnite. Yeah, pretty much.
That's
By the way, what?
Dead silence. No, I just don't know how to respond to that. I just
Goku with it.
I'm literally disappointed because I actually think that that's potentially true.
No, these are all real things. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Well, let me turn this off real quick.
It's painful, man. It's painful.
Darth Vader.
Wait, Fortnite has Spider-Man with guns?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
No, look, here we go. No, it looks like it's real.
On Fortnite?
Look.
GT. No.
Oh, that's great. That's amazing.
No, this is stupid.
No, I think it's amazing. This is stupid. It is stupid. You're not wrong. Naruto with guns. Yeah. Anyways, basically, if there's a character you like and you don't want him to use guns, he's probably in Fortnite with guns. All right. Last thing I want to talk about is make sure y'all go to coffeebrandcoffee.com. CHRILLCAST is the code. 5% off. Order your coffee.
Yeah. I think we all need to be more caffeinated.
I think the world of gaming journalism has a cynical and depressed, and we'd like it if it actually did die.
Yes. They're toxic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Opinions that are just terrible.
But we're Gen Z toxic, so it's toxic with double X's in the middle. So, anyways, as always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Andrew.
And we will see you
on the next CHRILLCAST.
Bye, guys. Bye. We're not canceled.